Okay, as we was talking about the RII, which we call the kill radio, this is what we call the lights that actually tells the individual running the remote kill radio that this is either on the right lane or it could be on the left lane. It lets him know what channel to be on, so that way everybody is in sequence and knows who's on what channel to know what to set the remote kill radio at. Then also inside the cab here of the Miss Bigfoot truck, you have the tach, which lets her know what kind of RPMs that she's actually turning the motor, which has a tattletale that can actually tell her mechanic exactly what she is running out there, if they need to actually gear her truck up or gear it down depending on what kind of RPM she's turning. Then over here you have the water gauge, you have the tranny temperature or tranny pressure, the blower booster, oil, the tranny coolant. I mean, she has all the gauges here to let her know what her truck is doing, so that way they know if they need to correct something or whatever, something is failing for her. Over here you have the on and off, which is the main power. You have the fuel switch over here that turns her fuel on or off by being inside the truck. And over here is the control panel, which is ignition. This is the starting button. And you go over here to her rear steering switch, which we actually have 3 settings on Miss Bigfoot here. It could either be on the button, which is a little button right here on the shifter that she can push that'll actually make her wheels come back to straight. Or she can put it on automatic, which it will automatically, when she takes her finger off the switch up here, that it'll actually come back on its own. Or she can put it on manual and actually stop it and make it come back with this button as she needs it to come. It's always, all this racing circumstances are always totally different, so there's no telling which way you might actually need to run your truck at. And then you go on down here, then you have the water pump and you have the fans, which actually cools the motor in the truck, because the last thing you want to do is to overheat this $50,000 motor back here that she's going to be running this year in this event. Then you actually get over here, then you have the shifter, and then down here you go in, this is actually her hot foot, which is actually her throttle, this is where she'll actually throttle to the motor, and this is the braking, which I was telling about earlier, how we have such good braking on these trucks. And back into the safety part, you actually, we have the 5-point harnesses. So when she has this all belted in, like I said earlier, she will not be able to move. It'll actually put her back in here. Along, she will have her Hans on, which goes underneath the straps, which is actually hooked to her helmet, so that way she won't be able to move her all at any. So she'll be really safe inside the cockpit. And then if you look down here, when we're doing slap wheelies, everybody wonders how we're going. Well, what it is we can actually see through this Lexan. So when we come up for a slap wheelie, we can actually look down through here and see where we're going. And also, this is also protected to keep from, flying parts off of cars and debris, mud, whatever have you, to flying up and getting in the driver's face. So that way the driver is protected from anything, from all the, people or all the stuff outside the truck. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the fuel system on this truck. Now, a lot of people ask, how is this comparisons to, say, my normal truck that I drive every day to work or just to wherever? Well, to be honest with you, this truck runs on alcohol. So comparison to like gasoline, this thing burns a lot more. Actually, one time I drove this truck 8 blocks and burnt 22 gallons of alcohol. So this is not something that you would really want to try to drive to a race. Say we might get down the road maybe 2 miles and we'd have to stop and fill up the truck, and we'd never make it to an event. So that's why we always load these trucks inside semi-trailers, to make sure that we actually get there without running out of fuel. And here, folks, is a brand new tire that we just got in from Firestone, which is one of our sponsors. And this is the big tires, actually not even been cut or mounted on a wheel yet. This is a brand new 66-43-25 tire that we actually use in competition on the trucks. And as you can see how much lug this tire has. Now what it is you will understand, we cut 200 pounds just off of one tire alone, which actually we don't break off near as much wheels. We don't have as much damage on the axles because we don't break off as much wheels because the tires are lighter, and naturally in racing lighter is faster. So that is why we use the Firestone tires, because they're very dependable and durable. And as you can see here, folks, we really don't want Mrs. Bigfoot to end up looking like this. This is something that I did earlier this year, and a teammate of mine, Larry, who did also earlier this year. Hopefully Miss Bigfoot, she will be out there driving this a little bit better, but this is kind of some of the damage you will see when you take a hard rollover. It just completely demolishes the cabs. I totally wasted the whole body. Larry wasted his whole body. And you know, you're looking at about $10,000 worth of damage right here. You know, by the time you buy the body, prep the body, paint the body. So, you know, these things aren't cheap. So, you know, we don't really want to go out and try to trash them out. But, you know, we're all about winning, and sometimes we push it a little too far, and this is what ends up happening when we get done. Well, I showed you what Miss Bigfoot looks like with her clothes off. Now, this is her closet, and this is where you see where the truck body is when it's not on the truck. Now, you know, we try to take really good care of these trucks, and we keep them put up, not trying to scratch them or anything, because we do enough damage when we're out on the racetrack. But, you know, this is a good way to see behind the scenes of what the truck body looks like when it's not actually on the truck. And hopefully you will all see Miss Bigfoot out here this year kicking everybody's butts at the races. And I just want to thank our sponsors, because if it wasn't for our sponsors, Summit, Firestone, we couldn't be out here doing what we're doing. And the fans, we owe it all to you guys too to keep Bigfoot #1. So I just want to thank everybody today for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please come by and see us.